Good morning. Welcome to United First Parish Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, welcome to our Unitarian Universalist faith community. It is good to be together today. As we gather this morning, we acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Neponset Band of the Massachusetts tribe, a people who have lived here for generations and who live here to this day. Friends from near and far, here in person or joining us over live stream, long-term members and friends and newcomers alike, welcome. Welcome one and all. I'm the Reverend Rebecca Froom, lead minister here at UFPC, and my pronouns are she and her. If this is one of your first times worshiping with us and you feel comfortable, I invite you to raise your hand up high so our ushers might bring you a small token of welcome. Any first or second time visitors? Excellent. Well, we hope you will join us following the service. Marilyn, up here. Hold those hands back up again. We hope you will join us following the service for coffee and refreshment. We gather in the parish hall, which you can reach through these doors on either side of the pulpit. We have a great worship team this morning. Our greeters are Juan and Andrew. Our ushers are Bill and Marilyn. We have Carl and Stephen on the live stream team. Thank you. Our flowers and decorations arranged by the flower committee, Pat, Claire, Katie, and Allegra. And joining us as our musician is Joseph Stoddard on organ. Joe was with us as a guest musician in September, and he will be with us once a month from now through May, playing the organ and being a guest leader at choir rehearsal. So a man of many musical talents. Thank you, Joe. And I know we're always like, do we clap or not with music and worship? So let's clap now. Thank you. We strive to be a welcoming community to people of all ages and abilities. In the back of the sanctuary near our ushers, there are large print hymnals. We have hearing assistance headsets that connect to our sound system, which can also be helpful for people sensitive to distracting background noise. In the back, we also have children's books and busy bags and drawing materials that families can bring to their seats. Our restrooms are located on the lower level, accessible by elevator or stairs behind the back corner of the sanctuary in the foyer. Okay, and for everyone who had this part memorized so far in the welcome, here's the new part. We are ending the service with a historic event. For the first time in living memory, we are having a fire drill. Think of this as like a fire drill rehearsal, a fire drill practice. So how this is going to work is that our postlude will be the lovely sound that I have not yet heard of the fire alarm. The fire department is not going to actually call. David Bosquin's made all the appropriate arrangements. So folks here in the sanctuary, if you're towards the back, like the kind of back 2/3 of the sanctuary, you can exit by any of the 3 aisles. We'll open the interior and exterior doors on all sides. So you can just go out any of the 3 aisles and doors. For folks who are in the front, closer to the front, our closest entrance or exit is to go through these doors into the parish hall on your left, which go immediately out the parish hall doors. The only exit with a ramp is through the portico. Families, your children will be in their Spirit Circle program with Farmer John, welcome John, or in nursery care. And the children will go immediately outside as well. Where are we all going? The meeting place is the large fountain by City Hall. Where's the meeting place? Yes. And so parents, it is totally against human nature, but resist the urge to run towards your children and instead meet them at the large fountain. I recognize that that might be challenging, but that is the plan. Their grown-ups and caregivers will be there with them. I will review this again when we get to the announcements, but I wanted to do it twice, so we were thinking about it. It's good weather for a fire drill, but take your coat with you if your coat is with you. Or if you want to grab your coat ahead of time from the parish hall, if it's hung up there, you can do that. Okay, clear as mud, we'll find out. And now let's take a deep breath together, feeling that spirit of life, that spirit of love that moves within, between, and beyond us all. And with our hearts open for worship, I invite Nicole to come and share a chalice lighting reading as I light our chalice, symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith tradition.
Today's words are by Reverend Michelle Collins. We light this chalice for eyes that see miracles in mundane moments. May this flame remind us that gratitude grows not through waiting for extraordinary gifts, but through noticing the ordinary blessings surrounding us daily.
Hello, good morning. I'm Albert Vaughn, the worship associate today. Please rise if you are willing and able, and join us in reading the congregation's covenant. The words are found in your order of service. As a free fellowship of this historic church, we unite to lift our hearts and open our minds to a larger reality, to accept, support, and encourage one another, to seek the wisdom in all religions, to cherish and sustain the web of life, and to strive for justice, compassion, and peace. Let us all greet one another in spirit of fellowship and peace as we turn and face each other. Hi, Carl. Hi, Stephen. Hymn number 38, Morning Has Broken. As we remain standing in body or spirit, let us lift our voices in song for hymn number 38.
You may be seated. And I invite our children and Spirit Circle team to come here to the front pew. Our Director of Religious Education and Family Ministry, Elizabeth Foster, has a message for all ages for us. And please bring your coats, because it's a farm day. I wonder what Elizabeth has put in the mystery basket this morning. Okay. All right, I saw your hand first.
It's a leaf.
A leaf? Can you raise it up high? Oh my goodness, a leaf, a colorful leaf, because it is that time of year. Well, you can pass it around to your friends up here, and let's see what the leaf has to do with our story.
So, has anyone heard of a storyteller named Aesop? No? Oh, yeah, some of us have. Well, we're going to find out. He was a storyteller from very, very long ago. And we're going to hear one of his stories about a tiny ant and a kind dove. And we're going to see what it might have to do with a leaf. So, one very hot day, not like today, an ant was out searching for water. It leaned too far over the edge of a stream, and the ant fell right in. The water carried the little ant away faster and faster, and it cried out, "Help! I'll drown!" Now, a dove was sitting in a tree, and she saw what was happening. Very quickly, she plucked a leaf out of the tree, and she dropped it right into the water. The ant climbed on, and the leaf floated that little ant safely all the way to the shore. The ant looked up at the dove and said, "Thank you, kind friend." Now, not long after that, it happened that a hunter came into the forest. And the hunter aimed his bow directly at that very same dove. Now the ant saw this and hurried to help. It crawled right onto the hunter's foot and it bit him really hard. "Ouch!" the human shouted, and he dropped his bow, and the dove got to fly safely away. Later, the dove circled back and cooed, "Thank you, little ant. You saved my life." Now, what I really love about this story is that it reminds us that gratitude, which is our theme this month, or being thankful, can be expressed not only in words, but with your actions. Gratitude, whether in words or deeds, can foster and strengthen friendships and communities, like the unexpected friendship between this dove and this ant. And now the congregation is going to sing us out, and we are going to make sure we take our coats with us as we go downstairs.
Through the sharing of our joys and our sorrows, we create a sacred space where we are deeply present with ourselves and with one another. This is a time for us to briefly, and by that I mean like it could fit on a postcard. So briefly, in a few sentences, lift up those life milestones that fill our spirits with joy or hope, and share those pains and losses that fill us with heartache. If you have a joy or a sorrow to share, in a moment, I invite you to come forward to this microphone, or alternatively, you can raise your hand and our usher, Marilyn, will bring the handheld microphone to you. And when you share, please first say your name so that we might all know and hear you. As we begin our sharing, we light a candle of joy, knowing that a joy shared is a joy magnified. And we also light a candle of sorrow, knowing that a sorrow shared is a burden lightened. Let us open our hearts to one another. And I want to share a joy on behalf of the Cox family. And as we end our sharing, we light a final candle, representing all of those joys and all of those sorrows that we hold silently in the sanctuary of our hearts. And may the light of these candles and the compassion of this community remind us that wherever we are on our journey, each of us is worthy of love, and each of us is able to love. Let us take a deep breath together, feeling that spirit of life, that spirit of love that moves within, between, and beyond us all. Let's take a deep breath together, perhaps rolling our shoulders back, finding a posture that is comfortable and yet attentive to this present, precious moment. Breathe in, breathe out, as we settle into a time of shared meditation here in the city silence. Will you lift your hearts and join me in the spirit of prayer, listening in these words for the language of faith most meaningful to you? Eternal presence, known by many names, known in many ways. We gather this morning as a community of spiritual companions, friends, neighbors, strangers, meeting one another in this present moment, with hearts full of joy and gratitude, of fear and sorrow, of compassion and hope. We give thanks for the joys of our lives and the blessings of our lives, for the relationships that sustain us, for new marriages and partnerships, for the celebration of an ongoing, sustaining relationship. We give thanks for friendship. We give thanks for birthdays and the ways in which we inhabit the world anew in each circling of the sun. We give thanks for small gifts like warm socks in a season of wind and change. We open our hearts with care and concern for all those who are struggling with their health in body or mind or spirit, struggling with housing, struggling with addiction, struggling in their relationships. May we all find grounding in the breath of life and love we share. May all who struggle be blessed with moments of peace, moments of insight, to know their own strength and goodness. And source of our being, source of our goodness, in this autumn time of change, where bright sun dances with cold winds, there are so many transitions happening in our lives and the life of our world. We know that change is one of the great constants of life. May we embrace change in courageous love with overflowing compassion. May we embrace change and transition and transformation together as spiritual companions. We pray this for love's sake. Amen, and blessed be. As you remain seated, will you join me in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life? I have two readings this morning, two poems. The first is titled Gratitude by Rosemary Watola Tromer. Gratitude, it happens, needs less room to grow than one might think. It is able to find purchase on even the slenderest of ledges, is able to seed itself in even the poorest of soils. Just today, I marveled as a small gratitude took root in the desert of me, like a juniper tree growing out of red rock. If I hadn't felt it myself, I might not have believed it, but it's true. One small thankfulness can slip into an arid despair, and with it comes a change in the inner landscape, the scent of evergreen. Our second poem is titled Gratitude Finds by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. An apple on the windowsill, a gentle rain in the night, a crow on a fence post, a child asleep on the bus. Gratitude finds the world as a gift. The heart bows and a day begins again. Gratitude is a way of knowing, teaching the heart to create, to serve, to belong. What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? A question we may be asked a lot in the month of November, especially at the Thanksgiving feasts many of us might attend, where sometimes folks go around the table and share something they're grateful for. Perhaps with genuine joy, perhaps feeling a little rote and wondering if the food will go cold. A whole mix of responses to this kind of exercise to share what we are grateful for. And hopefully this is a question we ask ourselves and one another more than once a year. What am I grateful for? What are you grateful for? Our answers will vary from the very large to something as small as that apple on the windowsill. The theme of the month at church, since we use the materials from Soul Matters sharing circles, the theme of the month is gratitude, but not just gratitude, nourishing gratitude. Gratitude is something that can grow when we nourish it. Grow inside ourselves, like the poem we heard from Rosemary Watola Tromer, or grow in how we share it with one another. And the opportunity for gratitude to grow comes from practice. You might be familiar with the idea of gratitude practices. Perhaps you have one yourself. Perhaps the internet likes to advertise gratitude apps to you. The options abound. Making a gratitude list in the morning or the evening, asking your children at bedtime, what are you grateful for? But it is good to practice gratitude, to nourish that gratitude. And like any kind of gratitude, it takes some dedication. Perhaps one might say some discipline to do it all of the time, to do it regularly every day, the same way that eating well or lifting weights or sitting down to meditate takes some discipline. Or perhaps devotion is another word I've heard for engaging in our practices. We don't always want to do it. It's not always so obvious. It's easy to be grateful for the beauty of the earth when the sun is out, and harder when it is gray outside or inside. And so author Christy Nelson talks about the difference between gratitude and grateful living. She sees gratitude as something that can be a bit almost of an exchange. When something good happens to me, like the green lights at the intersection when I'm a little bit late, then I will be grateful in response to this gift that I am given, something tangible. Whereas grateful living is an awareness practice that we learn to cultivate and bring with us to green lights and red lights and yellow lights. She writes, grateful living, like mindfulness or yoga, is an awareness practice and a way of training, deepening, and directing our attention. The point is not to become an expert in grateful living, never wavering from a grateful outlook, but to recognize that gratefulness can offer us a touchstone for life, especially in difficult times, where we can return our awareness again and again in order to shift or expand our perspective. She continues, like other forms of practice, grateful living makes us more resilient and flexible, and also offers a way to frame and learn from everything that unfolds in our lives. Through practicing over time, we gradually become more and more able to recognize the opportunity in every moment. Practice helps us deliver on presence, and being present leads to so much else that is beneficial. Through practicing over time, practicing and nourishing gratitude over time, we develop this grateful living perspective. And she says we can practice grateful living even in difficult times. And she comes to this insight from her own life experience. When Kristen Nelson was in her early 30s, she had a successful career working in the nonprofit world. Her friends were starting to get married or have kids. And on her 33rd birthday, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It had metastasized to her spine. And through her struggle with cancer, she developed and nourished a perspective of grateful living. She writes, "It was in facing the prospect of my death that I became alive as I never had before. After 18 months, when I finished treatment and was set free from the confines of hospitals, pain, and grueling side effects, the everyday things I had taken for granted before I got sick were more breathtakingly wondrous than I could have ever imagined. Nothing felt routine anymore. I noticed things around me as if for the first time. Having a body felt like a miracle. The appreciation I felt for people was epic. I felt grateful for most everything every day, and especially for the gift of time and waking up to another day. I began to get it, that this experience of gratefulness could be available through an intentional practice of remembering to take nothing for granted. She continues, with practice, I developed the spiritual musculature of perspective that helped me reconnect with awe and wonder, and to feel the privilege of all the moments that I am alive, even and especially the challenging ones. She developed the spiritual musculature of perspective, the perspective of grateful living. Now, I want to be careful here. She's not someone who says, be grateful for your suffering, be grateful for bad things. That's not what she's talking about. But for her, she's learned through this practice of pausing and noticing that there are small things to appreciate, wondrous things to appreciate in good times and hard times and those boring times and the mixture of times. She had a mindfulness practice already going into her cancer journey, and I know that that was a source of sustenance for her as well. In her work, Kristen Nelson talks about 5 principles for grateful living. And they're principles that were found in the poems we heard. Principle 1 is life is a gift. Life is a gift. In one of the poems we read, David Breeden wrote, "Gratitude finds the world a gift." Here we are. Here we are. And pausing to remember that is one of these core principles for a grateful living. Her second principle is everything is a surprise. Everything is a surprise. This gets into the wonder of gratitude. The way something looks so specifically beautiful in a certain quality of life. Surprise, that apple on the windowsill. Surprise, gratitude was able to grow in me, even in the arid times, as poet Rosemary Watola Tromer wrote about. So we start with embracing the reality that life itself is a gift, and go on to having that moment of pause and appreciation that lets us encounter the surprise of life and meet it with wonder. Her third principle is the ordinary is extraordinary. And again, this is what the poets write about when writing about gratitude or gratefulness, those small moments. Returning to her traffic light response, a way of looking at grateful living, she says what we do when we get to an intersection, to a red light, is to stop, look, and then go. And we can stop, and if it's a red light, get anxious and look at all of how we might be late, or perhaps look at our phone even though we know we shouldn't, and then we go. But it can also be an invitation to tiny moments of mindfulness and meditation. Stop, look. Life is a gift. Go. Letting ourselves be open to the ordinary as extraordinary. Her fourth principle for grateful living is that appreciation is generative. It grows. When we begin to notice what we appreciate, it grows. When we tell one another what we appreciate, the relationships grow. When we hear from one another what people appreciate about us, our relationship with ourself might grow. And she ends her list of principles for grateful living saying that love is transformative. So life is a gift. Everything is a surprise. The ordinary is extraordinary. Appreciation is generative. Love is transformative. Whereas the poet wrote, gratitude is a way of knowing, teaching the heart to create, to serve, to belong. Friends on the journey, pause, look around, take time this season and all seasons to notice the small moments of wonder, to notice the loving relationships. Practice from a place of devotion, not just discipline. Build that spiritual musculature of grateful living. And let this part of life go with you into times of thanksgiving, feasting, and times of hardship. May it be so. Amen. So in choosing our hymns this week, I flipped to the gratitude section and the index that talked about Thanksgiving, and I'm like, no, those aren't the ones I want. I found myself drawn to the hymns in the nature section, getting into that wondrous response to seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. And so I invite you to rise as you are willing and able to sing hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. be seated.
We drink from wells we did not dig, and we worship in a sanctuary we did not build. As a voluntary association of our church is sustained through the gifts of members and friends of our congregation, past and present. Your generosity supports. You can give online or by going to ufpc.org and clicking on the donate button or placing a contribution in the offering plate. If this is your first time worshiping with us, please let the offering plate pass you by. Your presence here today is your gift to us. We hope you will join us following the service for social hour. I'm very grateful for being a member of this church, and one of the things that I've participated in here that has brought me a lot of joy is the visitors program. Now, the visitors program finished for the season this past Tuesday, but it has given me an opportunity to meet people from not just all over the country, but from people from all over the world. And it's really nice to hear what brought them here and what interests them, and to find out a little bit about them as well. And it's something that has brought me tremendous pleasure in learning about the lives of people from all over the world, not just here in Quincy, and they love to hear about what life is like here in Quincy. So may the ushers come forward for the morning offering to support the good works of United First Parish Church. May it be joyfully given. Know that it will be gratefully received.
we are grateful for you. Here at United First Parish Church, we gather in many ways for worship and religious education and potlucks and so much more. So you can read about our ongoing and upcoming programs in our order of service insert. And please do read them in full. We're starting to look ahead to some of our December and holiday traditions as well. But I want to highlight some of the things happening in the next week. This Thursday at 7 p.m., we are holding our third annual Transgender Day of Remembrance Vigil in collaboration with Quincy Interfaith Network, Q Pride, and PFLAG, Quincy Support Group of Greater Boston, PFLAG, and many, many others as well. This is a day to remember the people who have transgender kin who have died of violence or by suicide over the last year, to share their names, light a candle. So it's a somber day, and it's also a day of resilience and hope to come together as a community. So we'll have interfaith clergy, we're having a couple speakers, and we'll be gathering on the Hancock Adams Common, using our portico as the stage for the presenters. Many thanks to Social Justice Action Committee for all your support with setup and more. There'll be a reception after that in the parish hall for community and resource sharing. Next Sunday, the 23rd, after church, is our Sweets Giving fundraiser. Is this also third annual? Are we in like a third annual week? Yeah, our third annual Sweets Giving fundraiser. In the parish hall today, you can sign up for an item you want to donate to that fundraiser. So bring either your wallet and or your baked goods, and you can go to Thanksgiving or prep for Thanksgiving with lovely baked goods. And in the morning of the 23rd, before church, there's going to be a training for folks to join the live stream team. And I actually want to pause and we've had many people on the live stream team over the years, but this last year or so, we've especially had Carl DeBishop doing it like so much. So I want to give Carl a round of applause. Carl's going to stay on the team, and we're going to expand the team. So if you're interested in any part of the live stream, please be in touch with our communications coordinator, Kendall, who will be running that training. Okay, and now let us rise as we are willing and able, and place our hands over our heart for our words of benediction. The words are by Charles A. Howe. May we go forth from this place, thankful for the life that sustains and renews us, and open to the grace that surrounds and surprises us. May we go forth from this place with openness and with thanksgiving. And before we extinguish our chalice, I want to remind us we're going to have a fire drill. We're not going to carry the actual flame. We're going to walk, not run, from the hypothetical flames. So to your closest entrance, closest exits, the back of the sanctuary or through here, and meet at the meeting place, which is the fountain by City Hall. Where's the meeting place? And where will the children be heading? Excellent. And the adults as well, but like adults and children will all head there. So let's turn towards one another and offer one another our shared sung benediction, Carry the Flame.